CBS presents this program in color.
From the sun and fun capital of the world, Miami Beach, we bring you the Jackie Gleason Show.
Starring Jackie Gleason in his special New Year's show. With Steve Allen and Jane Meadows, Morey Amsterdam, Louis Nye, Jerry Lester, and Gene Sheldon.
The June Taylor Dancers and Sammy Spear and his orchestra. And away we go.
Gentlemen, tonight we have our New Year's Eve show. And if you like laughs, tonight is your night. And we're going to get underway as soon as we hear a word from one of our financial benefactors. A little traveling music, Sam. Away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about the annals of television, one of the first chapters will be about a guy who was really the king. And it's a pleasure to have him with us tonight because he is one of the funniest guys in America. Here he is, Jerry Lester.
Happy New Year. And I think it deserves a toast for the new year. A is for a toast to Jackie Gleason. B is for the bus driver he portrays. C is for the sewer his best friend works in. D is for the diet he delays. Oh, he delays. E is for anybody knows him, loves him. F is for affection, for Miami. And put them all together, they spell absi-def. A word that means the world to me. Happy New Year. Never could do it. Let's do some stuff. Huh? I got some stuff for New Year. Put the matzo ball in, come on. What, do you like this kind of stuff? Because I got stuff. Wait a minute, hold it, just a second. This, my dear friends, is what you call a gazinta. This goes into this. 2 more years and I'd have been a lawyer. I wouldn't study. I got stuff. Wait till the kids see this stuff is missing. Oh, da-dum-dum-da-da-da-da. You don't see these kind of acts around anymore. Wait, I got a trick for you. You don't mind. Where you going? Happy New Year. Sweet Georgia cats. In answer to absolutely no requests, we bring to you a very fine impersonation of the great Al Jolson. I want to tell you, 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 I'd like to tell you. That's a cue. Oh, good to have you back. Our deference to the band. That was not a mistake. That was a staged ad-lib. Or they, if you don't say that, they write things in your music. And now, what is my favorite song in the whole world? Try the other world, please. Wrong. When April showers, or they come your way, or they bring the flowers, and it will be made. But when it rains, I know it will. But it will rain. Get out of here. And when you see those clouds upon that and you're soon gonna see, all covered with, so keep on looking for that bluebird, and listening for his song. When I have April showers, for my love. Many performers in our business who have different styles, different angles as to just how to purvey comedy. We're going to introduce a gentleman now who is the furthest out of them all. He's one of my favorites, and I'm sure he's one of yours. Louis Nye. Louis.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're very kind. You're snapping my picture, of course. Many of you nice people out there have relatives or friends that are connected with the Army. There's somebody that goes to the armed forces. So tonight I have picked an Army sergeant that I'm going to do for you. The one I remember very well. He's kind of a big man like that, large head, big, and he comes from New Jersey, one of our states. And I'm going to do the indoctrination speech as he's doing this to 1,500 recruits.
I want to take the opportunity to say a few words to the newly arrived enlisted men to the armed forces. A lot of you fellas away from home for the first time in your life, and you miss your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, or some slob you was running around with. You'll look at me and you'll wonder who I am. I'm your new mother. You may smoke if you wish. A lot of you wonder why we suddenly thrown into war. Why? We are thrown into war. It didn't happen just boom, boom, boom. It happened a long time ago when I was a little shaver. It took place. It happened like this. One day, a handsome young prince was taking a walk in the sleepy town of Sarajevo. Some rotten kid come up to him and give him a shot. And the poor prince laid down and expired. When this shot was fired on that Thursday afternoon, A sunny day, was wearing a tweed jacket. When this shot was fired, it reverberated around the world. And all the different countries got together and sent notices of condolences, all typed out nice, neat, saying, gee. So that's why you're here. A lot of you guys talk different from one another. You got different vocal patterns in your speech. Because you come from different states of our great nation. But you're all Americans. It don't make no difference how you talk. The reason you talk different from one another and have a different vocal pattern in your speech is caused by the food you eat and the air currents. A scientific major told me that. I would like to introduce to you at this time one of my corporals, whose name is Sean McDermott. He's a football star. He's doing a great job for the Army. McDermott.
I just want to say this, so what I'm down out there, ready to come to crime at time. And I said, Run Storm, trying to you guys in the Port Pine, I'd be a nice guy if I want to. I'd be a tough guy if I want to. There's something trying to rub you down on the Rust on Corona time. And don't you ever forget it. This thing I have in my hand called rifle. Take a look at the rifle. That's a rifle. R-O-F-I-L-A-C-E-Y. You take that thing, get the beam on the enemy. He's no good. He kill you. That's bad. You kill him. That's good. Set a proper up, top. Whipping it down at 95-degree longitude. I also want to tell you guys that Fort and Simon John, about 1,500 of you guys out there, and there's one gal in the Osho. And she's a tall lady way up here like that. 6'5" and a half, and walk funny and laugh and giggle. Every time I say howdy man to everybody, she just gaggle. And a thing to kill me, she have a long hanging earlobe to go way down here, go flippy flappy like that. Keep away from her. She's the captain's gal. You ready, Porter, to run a town?
Thank you, Corporal, for the words of enlightenment. Corporal is a splendid example of the marvelous opportunity offered to the youth in our nation. In his leisure time, he is also studying for the ministry. By mail. I would like now to read a list of names of the new arrivees. When you hear your name, sound off in a true militaristical manner, and you'll be reassigned to another department which you were supposed to be reassigned when you come in here. Look at the handwriting. You was told to write black print, and you didn't. You wrote longhand. Amanastro Bambarinio. Boyd. Wong Ping. All right, Wong, into the kitchen there. Swartz, Marvin Swartz. You, Marvin, into the kitchen with Wong. O'Brien, Ralph O'Brien. Sherlock Floyd Sherlock. Lou Blue Whitlow Lou Blue. Sounds like a thunderstorm. I can't go out to play, Mother. There's going on a Lou Blue Whitlow. Shamamaka, Yelma Shamamaka. How can a father name his kid Shamamaka? Imagine if I gets wounded in the field of battle and he turns around and says, "Help me, I'm hurt, Shamanamaka." Korsakov, Rimsky. I heard that name before. You're a ball player? No special privileges for you. You're no different than nobody else, and don't you forget it. Smith, John, God bless you. Horn, Lena, Leonard Holmes. Rebadim Rumdum Daka. Rubadick Remdum Daka. Rodney Rumdum Daka. Rebim Rumdum Daka. Rabbi Rumdum Daka. Welcome, Your Highness. Hey, Corporal, you want to help me with this last name here? What is that letter there?
Well, I know it's not an O. I know it don't start off with an O, Sergeant.
How can you tell that?
Well, if that start off with an O, what will happen would be it'll start up here and it just whoop right around like that. I see a two-family house and a little old lady driving up a driveway and there's something from a road time mama sitting down trying to find out that they take a lounge to 5 overnight like that. Big old man walking in the house there like that. I tell you, I find that man a spy and I saw whooping down. I tell you that. I said, well, I'm not down.
Get out of here. Dubalakolal Salam Wallowitz. Who's the wise guy that hollered, what initial? Are there any college men here? Will you please raise your right hand? I said right hand. I want all the college men to pick up the debris around here, and those that didn't go to college to watch them and learn something.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say I have many friends in show business. One of my oldest friends, and a guy who I always get a kick out of, and who is always the life of the party whenever we get together, is our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Gene Sheldon.
more of Jackie Gleason's special New Year's show.
You know, getting laughs is a very nebulous business. One night, a joke that you tell gets a big laugh. The next night, it lays a bomb. But tonight, we have on our show a guy who never fails. I've had many television and variety shows in my time, and whenever we needed a solid act to come on and garner a great many laughs, we always hired this guy. He's surefire. Ladies and gentlemen, Morey, Amsterdam.
Oh, what an audience. I wish you were here. I want to tell you something. That Gleason looks great. I haven't seen him in a while. He got so skinny, I hardly recognized him. Don't laugh. I knew him when he had so many double chins, he needed a bookmark to find his collar. You don't know it, Sammy. I went to school with Jackie Gleason. Really? Yes, as a matter of fact, I'll never forget, even in those days, he was such a fat kid, when he sat around the schoolroom, he sat around the schoolroom. When we graduated, they had to take an aerial picture to get us all in. I'll never forget, he wrote in my autograph book, you know the stuff you get at school? It says, my name is Jackie Gleason, I weigh 274. When I sit on a chair, there's so much of me there, most of me sits on the floor. But he's doing very well now. Jackie is with a group called Diets Anonymous. Works just like the other company, you know. You're hungry. You gotta have something to eat. Instead, you call the club and they send a guy over and gets drunk with you. I love Miami. You know, I came here from California. Really? Yes, I walked. I did. I never fly. I'm deathly afraid of movies. And the minute we got to Miami, I checked in the hotel, I walk out on the street, and I run into a green man. I swear, the man was all green. I said, you one of those guys from Mars? He said, yeah. I said, what are you doing in Miami? He said, I came for a tan. I said, you're kidding. I said, all you people up there green like that? He says, yeah. I says, you all got those little things sticking out of your ear like this? He says, yeah. I says, you all got those little black things in the middle of your head? He's only the Orthodox. I want to tell you. And I went out on the beach, and look at the girls almost wearing those bathing suits. Have you seen some of the suits these girls? Oh, I saw one, I swear, a silkworm knocked off during his lunch hour. All I can tell you, if this girl ever has her appendix taken out and she don't want a scar to show, they're going to have to take it out through her nose. You know something? It's almost New Year. Gosh, it hardly seems that in a few hours, all of our cars will depreciate about $300. And so many things happened in 1966. You watch all the television shows you see. They'll all tell you about the great things that happened in 1966. They don't tell you about the other things, the unimportant things, but I kept track of them. Wait, I wrote a whole thing down here in the paper. Look at this. January 10th, 1966, a severe windstorm in upper state New York. The hens were laying eggs from a standing position. I remember that date. I looked in my dresser drawer. My shorts were wearing my long winter underwear. Oh, that was the day that the woman shot her husband with a bow and arrow. She didn't want to wake the children. February 2nd, statistics show that there were 60 million television sets and 45 million bathtubs in this country. That proves that 15 million dirty people were watching television. February 12th. Don't bother me. Save it. It stirs up the air conditioning. February 12th, the 157th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Happy birthday, Abe. And this was also February 22nd, George Washington's birthday. We all remember George Washington when he uttered those immortal words, row faster, fellas, we only got the boat for an hour. March 6th, big winds and storms hit Southland. Flood in Louisiana. A musician saved his life by floating down the river on his bass. He was accompanied by his mother on the piano. It was lovely. March 17th, the 85th anniversary of the man who invented the fire hydrant. Just think, without his wonderful invention, we'd all have to walk our dogs in the living room. April 10th, New York City. Woman gives birth to twins in the subway. Pretty sneaky way to get a seat. April 15th, International Revenue Day. Internal Revenue Day. Must have written this with a dialect. Some guy wrote a poem to the Treasury Department. Don't arrest me, officer, before you know the facts. I'm really not a nudist. I just paid my income tax. May 7th, Hollywood. Famous movie star seriously hurt while taking a milk bath. The cow slipped on a piece of soap and fell on her head. Only girl in Hollywood with homogenized hair. I'll never forget that. May 19th, IBM demonstrates a new machine to match up ideal couples. You heard about that, how they match up couples. And this fella, you have to stand in front of the machine and list your qualifications. This fella says, I am 25, I am handsome, and a millionaire. So the machine mugged him. June 12th, a man who was married 8 times married a woman who'd been married 7 times. You should have seen the invitations. He says, be sure and show up. This is no amateur affair. June 20th, my uncle and aunt broke up after going together for 40 years. She wouldn't marry him when he was drunk, and he wouldn't marry her when he was sober. July 16th, Manchester, Iowa. Farmer invents way to raise beautiful pickles. Plants them upside down. Instead of warts, they have dimples. Oh, it's lovely. San Francisco, July 24th. A drunken sailor has a pair of bloomers tattooed on his chest. He said he always wanted a chest with drawers. Isn't it? August 3rd, hottest day of the year hit Chicago. I was there. I remember it was so muggy, I saw a guy get off a bus, had 6 people sticking to him. August 15th, that's when we bought our new color television. I think there's something wrong with it. The other night, a girl was singing Am I Blue? She was yellow. September 9th, kids go back to school, mothers go back to canasta. September 10th, the doctor invents a new miracle drug that is so powerful you have to be in perfect health to use it. October 1st, Chicago, Dr. Morris Fishbein discovers a new cold cure, and this is marvelous. If you got a cold in your head and you don't want it to go into your chest, tie a knot in your neck. November. Thanksgiving Day in November. Do you know that this Thanksgiving there were more turkeys sold than any time in the history of turkey selling? If all the turkeys in the world were laid end to end, that's the part I'd get. December 25th, Christmas Day. I wonder why they always have Christmas when the stores are so crowded. December 31st, New Year's Eve. That's tonight, folks. And we just got a note for the motor vehicle department. Be very careful. Do not drink while driving. Pull over, drink, then drive. I was just kidding. Have a wonderful 1968. I heard 1967 is going to be nothing.
When they speak of the night performers who have the shows that come on late at night, and they talk about people who have discovered other performers, I think they can truthfully say that this next artist that is about to come on has discovered some of the finest talent and the greatest humor in America. And also, America was very fortunate in discovering him. Here he is, Steve Allen, and his lovely wife, Jane Meadows. Jane?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and Happy New Year. I know that with the coming of 1967, we're all interested in what's going to happen in the world of politics. So it's a great pleasure to introduce to you tonight one of the finest politicians that money can buy, the Honorable Senator Philip Buster.
Well, good ladies, evening, and gentlemen.
Good evening, Senator Buster. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, my dear. It's nice to be had.
Now, Senator, I've prepared a few questions for you here. Would you mind if I was to ask you a few?
It'll get pretty quiet if you don't. Let me put it that
Now, the first question has to do with the fact that we've been hearing so much criticism lately about actors getting into politics. What do you think of the trend?
Actors getting into politics, I personally am opposed to it.
You are?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me put it on a very personal basis, my dear. How would you like it if we had people like, Frank Sinatra running things in Washington?
Well, what would be wrong with that?
Well, politicians are supposed to kiss babies, not marry them. Although, now that I think of it, he does know quite a bit about public affairs, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well, Senator, I happen to know that you are very friendly with a lot of actors.
Oh, certainly. Well, that's not it, Miss Meadows. Not at all. My goodness, why, I just moved into a new home out in Hollywood, you know, and I want to tell you about this. Brigitte Bardot lives just on the west side of me.
Oh, and who lives on the east side of you?
I don't know. I haven't looked. But I do see it.
That you were in the Senate for some 14 years, is that right?
14 years in the Senate, yes.
And before that, how long were you in the House?
Well, I was in the big house for 3.5 years. On a bum rap, of course, my friend.
Yes, of course. Now, I'm curious also about your opinions on some of the modern developments in our society.
Huh?
For example, would you give us your view on the miniskirt?
Well, I've been trying to get a better view of it for quite some time, to tell you the
That isn't what I mean, Senator, at all. I wanted to know what you think of the new mod fashions generally.
I say, young lady, that these new mod fashions are dangerous.
Dangerous?
Yes, sirree, are dangerous. Why, just last week, you know, in a supermarket in Washington, D.C., in a supermarket, a little boy was lost. And when the store detective found him, he said to the little boy, "Why didn't you hold on to your mother's skirt?" And the poor little fella said, "I couldn't reach it."
Well, now, Senator, I hadn't expected to find you so narrow-minded on this subject, because we all know about your work with the youth of America. And, as a matter of fact, I was wondering, when you come face to face with the average teenager, just what does he usually say to you?
Stick 'em up. Something along that line.
Well, that's terrible. But I am correct, aren't I, in feeling that you are actively interested in the problems of the young men in our society
Oh, yes,
today?
the young people interest me very much, yes.
And I did read recently that you called for a congressional investigation into rock and roll records.
You read that?
Yes.
Well, that is a downright lie. It's also a fabrication. I happen to approve of rock and roll records. I think they are very good for teenagers. As a matter of fact, I think rock and roll takes their mind off things.
Takes their mind off things?
Yes, things like music. They shouldn't have to worry about all that stuff together.
Well,
you know.
now tell me, what do you think of young men with long hair?
I usually think they're young women with long hair, to tell you the truth. I can't tell them apart anymore.
Oh, Senator, you are fascinating. You really are. I wonder what makes you tick.
I don't know, unless it's this cheap wristwatch I'm wearing.
Now, come on, Senator, we must get down to the real issues.
Yes, and not a minute too soon, either.
Such as Cuba. Now, tell me, what do you think? Do you feel that we will ever be able to trust Fidel Castro?
Personally, I never even trusted Desi Arnaz. Who knew what he had in those thick heels of his, my friend?
Now, how about the war on poverty?
I say the government will never win it. We poor people got them outnumbered. I think we're pretty secure if we follow the whole numerical.
I mean, how is the war on poverty going?
Oh, it's going all right. Why, in this one area alone last week, they wiped out about 400 beggars. That's doing pretty good. But I must say that the main problem as regards the war on poverty is that the poor people these days have a lot of nerve.
Why?
An awful lot of nerve. Well, when I was a young fella, if you were poor, you just starved to death and you kept your mouth shut about it, you know. But today, with their protests and their marches and screaming and demands, would you believe it? A bum came up to me on the street outside this very auditorium this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and told me he hadn't had a square meal in days.
And what did you do?
I gave him a bullion cube. Square meal, him. I say let the bum get to work. Every big corporation in America is looking for executives.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true, Senator. And while we are on this subject, I would like to know, what was your original profession?
My original profession, I was a...
No, that's your belief. I mean your profession. For example, I am a great actress.
That's your belief. Now, don't try to get smart with me, sister. I work with my head.
So does a woodpecker.
Oh, just a moment now. Let's not fly off the handle here. But as I was about to say, I think the main problem is Incidentally, you better have this lanced right away. Do you realize? But the main problem is there are too many poor people having too many children.
Oh?
Yo, it's just terrible. Why, I was in the park, the Bayfront Park in this area just the other day, my friends. I saw a poor woman trying to feed 14 children. I went up to her and I said, "Pardon me, madam." I said, "Are all these your own children, or is this perhaps some kind of a picnic?" She said, "They're all mine, Buster, and it ain't no picnic, believe me." Terrible, terrible situation.
Well, now that really makes me curious, because I wonder how many children you have.
At last count, I was the proud father of 18 children.
18 children?
Yes.
Well, now, could you tell us their names?
All the names of all of them?
Oh, please.
Well,
yes.
it's a tall order, but then they're tall children. I'll do my best. Here we go. The names of the children: Peter, Paul, Mounds, Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Bean, Doyle, Dane, and Burnback, Ringo, John, Larry, Curly, Niles, Phil, Gus, and Moe.
Well, haven't you done a wonderful job of naming them all?
Oh, I don't know, not that great. 6 of them are girls, but I'll tell you, folks, if you could see Gus, she is really beautiful. I'm not lying to you. Beautiful long hair hanging down her back. I wish it grew on her head, but it's all down in here. Actually hideous, very hideous.
Incidentally, Senator, how long have you been married?
Let me see now. My goodness, you know, my wife and I were married 27 years ago, and it seems like yesterday. Yes. And you know what a lousy day yesterday was.
Yes. Where is your wife right now?
Well, I'm very glad to be able to tell you, Miss Meadows, that at this moment she's on her way to the hospital again. You see, we're going to have still another baby.
Oh, isn't that lovely? But you don't mean to say that you've let her go to the hospital all by herself.
Listen, sister, if she can't find that joint by now, she never will.
Oh,
you know.
Senator.
New Year's Eve show. We hope you've got some laughs. Now, last year was a pretty good year, but I'm positive that next year is going to be even better. And with that in mind, I'd like to wish one and all, and Miami Beach in particular, a very happy New Year!
This is Johnny Olson speaking for the Jackie Gleason Show. Gowns by Cameo Evening Fashions, furs from Ritter Brothers. Ladies and gentlemen, the entire staff and all the sponsors of the Jackie Gleason Show join in wishing you a very Happy New Year. This program was pre-recorded.